We got our floor plan sort of laid out the way we want it. We're pretty sure we're in good shape. So now it's time to put some exterior dimensions in. So I went to the basement plan and I can see, and I hope you can see as well, that the scale of the basement plan is too large. It doesn't fit on the sheet. So the first thing we need to do is activate the view so that we can make it smaller. So let's try 3/16. That's not going to work. So let's try an 8. That will work. So deactivate the view. Raise that up a little bit. About to right there. We do have some cleanup to do because our section lines need to be more organized. They're in the right location, but the ends or the beginnings, the arrow head or the bubble needs to be outside of the building for sure. So let's do that. We activate the view. Let's grab this guy and pull him all the way over to here. And then we'll grab this guy. We'll pull him over and watch it snap. See that little dash line there? So what Revit is saying is if you let me go here, I will be aligned with the one above. And we just grab that. And that looks pretty good. And just to be safe, let's pull these. Now we don't want to change the location of them other than just to extend the sections on both sides. So that looks good. And what about these? Let's do the same thing. We just select it and grab it. And let's get it up there as close to the edge of the title block as possible. Now let's see if this will snap. Sure does. And let's see if this will snap. Yes, it does. And we'll snap this one. Yep. And we'll snap this one. Okay, let's see. We still have to pull the bottom down. So let's get that down as close as possible. It's all snapping to the previous one. If we just let go, it snaps right where we want it. All right, so that looks better. Let's just see if we have enough space here. Maybe we can deactivate the view. Just nudge it up a bit. Give us a little more space because we're putting in dimensions now. So let's activate the view. And I want to put 3 rows of dimensions. One row is the overall. So we would say the distance from the outside face here to the outside face here. Then the offsets, which would be here to here, to here, to there. And if we had any windows, then the third, or doors on the exterior, then we would do that. But here we only have 2 rows. We don't have a third row. So what I like to do is I like to actually put in reference planes. And that means that if I put a reference plane in here, it will show up on the first floor and it will show up on the second floor. And so my dimensions will line up with each other exactly. So let's do that. So let's put in a reference plane here. Okay. Now what's that distance away? It looked like 8 feet, but let's measure it. 7'2". Okay. And now let's put another reference plane in here, which is also 7'2" across. So now we know that that's equal. And then let's do another one over here on this side. Architecture reference plane. And we want that 7'2" again. From the farthest out, the dashed line is the footings. So we don't want that. It's on the wrong side of the imaginary line that I drew. So I hit the space bar. And then we'll do the last one, which is 7'2" from the farthest outside face, which is here. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the end of it and just pull it across here. Okay, so if I do 7'2", it's a little bit tight there. Let's see if we deactivate the view and let's just nudge it up a little bit. Let's put it back where it was, leave it alone. Okay, so 7'2" is probably going to be my extreme outside dimension. That's about as far as I can get away from the house. So let's put those in. We're on the basement plan. We'll say, well, I have it in my quick access toolbar. I have the dimension already. So we want to go, let's pick the face. Don't pick the end here, because if you pick over here, Revit says, wait, do you want the end of this wall or do you want the face of this wall? So I always pick in the somewhere inside of the wall itself. And we know we're going to have a dimension that goes to there. That dimension is going to go on that as close as I can get it. So we got 74'4" in that direction. Now let's go this way. We're going to go from the outside face to whatever the extreme outside face is on this side. And we're going to try to line it up pretty close to that as well. We'll do the same thing again down on the bottom from here to there. And we'll kind of line it up with that reference plane. This is a dimension we don't need, so we'll delete that. It doesn't tell the people trying to build the house anything other than how far away that dimension line is. Okay, so now that looks good. We're going to save it. Now we need to put in another row of dimensions, which are the offsets. So we'll go back again, dimension. We're going to pick this line and then this line. We're picking the faces and then this line. Now move your mouse up and Revit will snap to a distance away. So that looks good. Then we'll do the same thing over here. Pick this. Whoops, I didn't get the right one. So we're going to pick this one. And then we have a little bit here of an offset. And then we have a little bit here of an offset. Now you just move your mouse over it. It'll snap to the same distance away from that. Once again, we have offsets here, 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 and here. And then I just move my mouse over there and boom, it snaps equal distance away. So I have my offsets, but I didn't get the bottom offset. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll let it snap. So it snaps right into place. Save it. And now we have dimensioned our basement plan. And we have cleaned up our section lines. So that looks good. We saved it already. So let's go to the first of all, let's deactivate the view and let's put in some grid guides. Okay, so this is going to be, we could use the garage left, but I'm going to say bottom right corner. So I'm going to make a new one. We're going to call it bottom and we'll modify this guy by tab. I couldn't get it before, so I had to use the tab key to tell Revit that it hadn't selected or highlighted the object that I wanted it to highlight. And then we'll drag this guy down to there and we'll line it up right with there. And what we're doing is we're trying to get the corner of the house on each sheet to be exactly in the same spot. Now, there should be a label here, and I'm not seeing one. There it is, right there. Okay, so we're going to go back and we're going to say label. Remember from our sections, we put that label in, and there's our label. We're going to put that right down here. Now, I did notice that there was a spot where the dimensions were on top. So let's fix that. So we're not going to move our section, but we'll activate the view. We'll click on that dimension line, and we can drag this guy over to the right or to the left so that it's legible. Okay, I think all the other ones are legible. Yeah, we look good. Okay, save that. Now let's go to the first floor plan, the first floor dimension plan. And look at that, too big. So we'll activate the view. We'll change it to an eighth because we know that it fit in an eighth on the other one. And what are we going to do? We're going to deactivate the view and put in our grid guide, which is what? Bottom right corner. Say OK. And now I've selected that view and I'm just using the arrow keys on the keyboard. And I got it pretty close. And then I can zoom in, and there's just a little more precision when you're this close. The hitting the arrow key doesn't move it quite as far. So I think that's pretty darn close for this. And there's our grid or our reference plan, so we can use those again. And let's see, cancel. We're going to put our dimensions in now, and we're going to line them up here. So we have an overall, which would be the outside face of the brick. Oh, activate the view. Okay, then we'll put our dimension in. It wasn't activated. The view wasn't activated. Now, don't click here. This is the end of this wall. Sometimes you'll get it right, sometimes you won't. But when you come down here, Revit has a higher probability of selecting what you really want it to snap to. And our dimensions will go here. And let me go all the way over to here and say, wait a minute, you missed one. Well, look at what happens. If I click here and then I click here, Revit says, it's all right. You don't have to put another one. You don't have to go and start over again if you didn't do it perfectly in order. Revit will figure it out. So we'll line it up there. Oh, and I did that wrong. That's our offsets. So let's just pull this down for now. I like showing mistakes because other people make them too. And sometimes it helps. So I could delete that and start over again, but I don't have to. I just put the wrong dimension right here on the grid guide on the reference plane, which I shouldn't have. So let's do it again. But this time we'll do the overall from here all the way over to here, and then come up and line it up on that reference plane. Now, this is why I didn't have to erase it. I'll just drag it up. It's still going to snap. Watch. You know, it snaps right to the right location. Now here we have another row that we need. So we have our overall, which is the extreme left to right, then our offsets. But now we have another row, which is the center line of the doors and the windows. So here, and most doors and windows will snap to a center line, and then to here. And then watch this, will go back up, it'll snap to the right location. So these dimensions don't have to be, and probably will not be, even inches. And that's okay, because we're concerned about the basement guys putting in the basement to even inches. We're not concerned about, carpenters can figure that out. Their tape measures have these divisions on them. So do the basement guys, but they won't generally, unless you're talking about a commercial project. They're not going to deal with anything closer than 2 inches. So let's do it down at the bottom. From where? Well, we'll do the overall first from here. So we'll go all the way over to here. and then line up with this grid guide, or I'm sorry, with the reference plane. And then we'll go back in and we'll put our next one in, which is our offsets. And then we just come down here and it'll snap. Watch, look how it snaps. So once we have our outside, well, look what I missed that one. I missed one. So we don't have to erase and start over. We'll click on this, edit the witness line, simply click where you want it, and then come back and click anywhere outside of an object, because you don't want to select another object, and it put that back in for me. So I've got some windows. That will be my third one, and it'll snap to the center line, snap to the center line of the door, snap to the edge, snap to the center of the window, and to the center of the window, and to the edge. And watch, it'll come down and it snaps right in place. So we have two more sides. So let's do our overall first, from here to here. And where does that go? Right on top of that grid guide on that reference plane. Then we'll do the next one, which is from the face of the brick. I'm going to do it all the way to the back first, just to illustrate again. Right now I have that overall, but I can click here. Revit smart enough to know to add another dimension in there, and it just snaps right in place. Now I don't have any windows here, so I don't need to put an overall. But as I didn't have any windows here, so I didn't need to put center line, but I do need to put here. So let's do it. Here, snap to the center, snap to the center, and snap to this edge. Now, where does it go? It'll snap right where I want it to be. Okay, so far so good. One more side. I do have a window here, and I do have a door here. So let's do the overall first, which is the face of the brick to the face of the brick. And then we just kind of get as close as we can to that reference plane. We'll put another one in, which we'll call our overalls. Look at that, I went to the wrong spot. Good. Let's see if we can drag it over there. Sometimes this is the one you drag. And in this case it was. And this should be the same as that, just to double check. 54 foot 10. 54 foot 10. Okay, so I did drag it to the right location. You don't have to redo it. If you're getting paid by the hour, then maybe you want to delete it and redo it. But if you're spending your precious time, you want to be as efficient as possible. And Revit allows you to go back and modify without starting from scratch on your dimensions. And then I don't have any windows here, so I only need to put my third row, which is the center line of the, see, it'll snap to the center line and to there. And I have a window here, so let's snap to that window. And I have a edge here. Now, did I miss anything? No, it looks good. So we just let it snap to its right location. And there we go. We have another one in there. So let's finish up our dimensions with our third floor. We're going to go to our second floor. We're going to go to our second floor dimension. Way too much information there. I think something might be turned on. Activate the view. We might have an underlay here, so let's see if we do. Sure enough, our underlay is our first floor, so we're going to change that to none. We don't want to see the first floor. We only want to see the second floor. We're going to dimension to the second floor. And we don't have all the windows in yet, so we might hold off on that. But we also know that 1/4 inch doesn't fit our sheet. We do know that 1/8 does. So let's get rid of the crop region. That's this little guy right here. Hide the crop region. And then deactivate the view. And we'll move it up a little bit. Move it over a little bit. And then we'll use the grid guide bottom right corner. That's where this corner should be, so we can nudge it over, nudge it down. Let's get a little, zoom in a little closer, see if we can get it more precise. Yeah, pretty good. We want to really be precise, we can zoom in a little closer. I think that looks pretty good. All right, what did we forget to do on the first floor dimension? The label. There it is. Let's deactivate the view. I forgot to fix the label, so let's do that while we're at it. Label, okay. And then I can just drag this guy right down on top of there. Back to the second floor dimension. So I'm not going to put the windows in yet. The windows dimension in because I don't have them. Look at how far away this one is, because that's outside of the garage, which is below. We don't need to dimension to the garage. But I'm going to leave that as my line where I want to put my dimensions. So we'll do the overall, which would be, whoops, activate the view to put the dimensions in. So we'll go from here all the way over to here, and then we'll line it up right there on that reference plane. We do have offsets, so we'll do that now, but we come back later and put in the windows set dimension since we don't have them in. Let's watch it snap. Snaps right to that point. Another overall from here to here. We'll line up with this reference plane, and then we'll come back. We'll go from here. These are overalls. No, these are offsets. And we'll move our mouse over there. It'll snap right in place. That's where it should be. Now, where is the reference plane down there? I don't see it. I see this one, but I don't see that one. So we'll have to figure something out. Let's get this, and this would be our overall. We're going to snap to the outside, so it's still going to be the same. Our dimensions are going to be in the same location. And then we'll go from here to here to here, and we'll snap to that one. Now, where did that other reference plane go? Let's go back to the first floor plan. We don't have our section lines there, so we'll go to the first floor plan here, which does have our section lines, and I can see that reference plane goes through that section line. So I'm going to activate the view, and I'm going to go to that view and see where my reference plane is and why it's not going up enough for me to see it. And let's change to hidden line. And maybe, no, the reference, I was thinking, well, maybe the reference planes aren't turned on, but I see this one. So I should be able to see that one over there. No, it's over on this side. Where's the front? This is the front. This is the front. So we should see that reference plane here. And we don't. So let's see. Let's hit reveal hidden elements. See, maybe that's, oh, look at that. The crop region wasn't showing enough of the house for us to see that reference plane. But what I was concerned about was that that reference plane wasn't all the way up there. So if I drag it down to here, it doesn't go through the second floor. We wouldn't see it on a second floor plan. But I'm going to put it back up to there. Second floor dimension. And maybe it's turned off here. Okay, so let's click here. And again, it's outside of our crop region. So that's why we couldn't see it. And there it is now. So I'm going to click this close, reveal hidden elements, and that's why we couldn't see it, was because it was outside of the crop region. We told Revit, don't show me anything outside of the crop region, but I wanted to see this, so I needed to extend the crop region. I like that. That was a good one. So we're going to go from brick to brick to brick. And I just did an offset, so I'll just put it right there. Instead of the overall, which will be from here to here, this is the one I want to line up with my reference plane. And then I will drag this one and it'll snap. Snaps right there. So hit the save button. When we come back and put in the windows on the second floor, then I'll have to come back and dimension it so that if the carpenter we're going to build this house, he needs to know where the center line of the windows are. So that looks pretty good.